two of these. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping I can make a set like this. The fabric ended up being way more see-through than I thought it would. And the second option seems to be easier, I think. Let's move this here. And let's move this here. Oh, I haven't. It's okay. Okay. So, welcome to a new video. I am really excited about this video because it is the beginning of a project that I've been wanting to do. I am going to be learning a lot during this video. So, hopefully, it is not a very frustrating video because with the process of learning techniques, sewing and crafts in general, there's a lot of friction that happens sometimes. So I hope this is going to be a little bit more smooth. But if there is a lot of friction, that is part of the process as well. Well, before I get to that, today I finished this vest, which had been in progress for 3 months, 4 months, I don't know. And so there should be a video up on my YouTube channel already showing the process, which was a very bumpy one, very bumpy. I'm also getting over a cold. Finally, today I'm feeling better, which is why I'm like tackling my work in progress projects, starting something new, starting this video, which I have been wanting to. So I'm gonna get into it. I got this fabric with my mother-in-law maybe like at the beginning of December or the end of November. Let me just put this on here so my hands are able to move. So these are thrifted curtains that I got, and the pattern is this very faint pink and white stripes, which I thought it was cute. It says that it is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. However, these curtains have a lining. So the tag is actually for like the whole thing. So I don't know what is what. This is like giant, like really long curtains. I haven't really measured this, but there has to be at least like 2.5 meters, 3 meters, maybe more. There's a lot more. And I have two of these. So I'm really excited to use this fabric to try these different projects and these different techniques that I've been wanting to learn. So in this video, I am making a set, or that's the hope, that is the intention, the wish. I'm hoping I can make a set like this. If you're new here, I'm not, and I live in Florida, in South Florida. So most of my outfits, most of my clothes are summer friendly outfits. So I'm excited this year because I just recently learned how to sew, to make garments, make pieces for myself to wear during those months, and really just in general in like my life. I've always struggled with like shopping and finding things that I actually like. So the action plan is I am going to make these pants. Forget her name. Ali Marie, these pants, and this person. And also the links to the patterns that I'm going to be using, if I use more than one pattern in this video, will be all tagged in the description below. So that's it for the pants. I'm excited about it because I'm going to be learning how to do a zipper. I am going to be invited to try the garment on in the process of making it to see how it fits, meaning I'm gonna have to adjust things as I go to make them fit for me, which excites me because all I've made like sewn garments are things that are easy to just like fit in my body. So like this is elastic, it's baggy, but a fitted garment seems like it's like another level, which I am ready to tackle and I'm ready to learn. So I'm excited about that. That's for the pants. Now for the top, as you can see in my inspiration picture, I'm gonna put it here again. It is a simple blouse, I think. Simple, what do I know? I am thinking, can I self-draft this? Because I've been using patterns to do all of my sewing projects, which is to me great for learning because everything is new, and I have been choosing patterns when I buy them, making sure that they have video tutorials because I am a visual learner. So that is really helpful. Now, I think that I'm in that stage where I think I am ready to try things myself. And so I'm thinking this seems to be a rather simple top to self draft. So, what I'm going to start doing is putting together the pattern. Okay, if you are joining me in the process of this video, I also wanted to remind you that if you want to see videos like this in the future, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like this video if you like it, of course. That would help me, that would help the channel, that would help, yeah, my heart. Is that too cheesy? It may be. But yeah, okay, so join me in the making of all of this.
Do we are? Do I? Do do be do 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 I? Do I? Do I? Do 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 I?
I'm trying to match the fabric before cutting the mirrored side of the pants. And this is taking long, but I think this is the right thing to do. I believe so. Hopefully you can see me there and hear me. This is way too big on me. It is nothing like what it's supposed to look like. Based on my measurements, I thought I was going with a medium size, but I guess maybe a small would have been better because now I'm like, okay, there are so many different ways that I can fix this. And because I don't know much about it, I'm just learning, I'm like, what can I do? So right away, I can tell that the back fits better than the front, but it's still baggy, but it definitely fits better than the front. The front to me seems to have like a very long crotch, and I'm not exactly sure how to fix that. I have these pants that I thrifted not too long ago, and they're very similar to how these pants are supposed to fit. These are definitely very fitted, but what I think I'm going to do is that I'm going to use them as reference. And I already went ahead and I measured a little bit. And the back is indeed very similar to this pant, which again, I think out of everything, it's like what is fitting the best right now. The front is definitely very, very different. So a learning curve ahead. Okay, so I have updates. A lot has happened. A lot of trial and error has happened behind the camera or off camera. And as you can see, these two sides are different because I have tested everything on one side and I have left the other side with just one change since I gave you an update. I made the darts a little bit bigger. I believe they were half an inch, like from here, half an inch. And then I turned them into 3/4 of an inch. And then I also took maybe I think it was 1/4 of an inch from the sides. Something else that I did was that I basically used the pants that I showed you before to get a better shape for the crotch, and that helped a lot. This is how it looks after I made that change. So the left side. So this side that is a little bit more baggy. And also, as you can see, it's like a pretty see-through fabric, which tells me that I'm gonna have to, whatever I do for the top, because I want this to be a set, I'm gonna make it so like probably like long enough so that it covers my underwear. So I just thought that, this could be a look, that could be the style of the pants, like loose and they're really comfortable and whatnot. But I wanted this pants to be a little more fitted. Okay, I think you can see now what's happening. So when I was trying this on, the pants were pretty, like, I had to take them in a lot on the sides because again, you can see that there's a lot of fabric here. But when I took in from here so that it was more fitted around my thighs, this area also reduced a lot and they were kind of like very straight. And I guess I'm just trying and testing things out. So I think I'm going to try to do a slit. Also, I completely forgot that yesterday when I finished working on the sewing machine, I was having an issue with the compartment that holds the bobbin. It is kind of like moving and it's too loose in there. So it's moving in a way that it's getting in the way of the needle and it's making this weird noise. Because a couple times the thread in the bobbin got tangled and I don't know, that has kind of like moved, and I'm gonna have to figure out if I can fix it. It actually feels pretty good right now. This is probably one of the hardest parts. So let's see. I kind of like this one. This popped out of the tin can when I opened this. I don't know. I don't love. I thought I was gonna like, I had this, but no, I don't like that iridescent. Let's see, what's this? This is the same, but a little lighter than this. Do I like this? I don't know. I think I still like the white one better. Okay, a couple days have passed since I finished the pants. I am quite satisfied with the final result. I'm satisfied because to be my first pair of fitted pants, I am pretty happy with how they turned out. However, a couple things need to be highlighted. One, and I think the most important thing that is going to make me or allow me to make specific decisions now for the next part of this process, which is creating the top. The fabric ended up being way more see-through than I thought it would, because the curtains that I bought, if you remember, they were lined with this white fabric. I thought it was like a good, thickness. It ended up being way lighter than I thought, which on the one hand is actually good because again, I am hoping to wear this during summer. However, you can really see my underwear, and because the pants are really high-waisted, it just looks really odd. So now that is kind of like guiding me towards changing my initial idea of the type of top that I'm going to make. That was the first thing that I wanted to say about the pants. And when I was putting together the waistband, it didn't occur to me to try it on or test it. So they do sit really high, like higher than any pair of pants that I have in my wardrobe. And so that makes them a little bit uncomfortable, which is sad. And yes, I will be showing you the pants and the whole set at the end of the video. I just wanted to give you an update on my feelings in general about the pants. The process was really fun. I actually really enjoyed just like making changes, and the fact that this was a cheap fabric that I also knew that I had more in case I made mistakes just made me feel really free with the changes. Although I do have to say, my best friend throughout the whole process was the heat eraser marker. I probably used almost the whole thing in the pants because I was marking everywhere, everything, just to make sure that I felt good with the changes and so that I didn't forget and all of that. However, that also meant that I skipped a lot of pressing on the seams and things like that. Not only because of me being worried about erasing all of those lines, but because, again, I'm a beginner and the tutorial really didn't remind us of when to press seams and stuff like that. Not that it has to include that, but the only other pattern that I had followed in a video was the lane pants. And Sydney reminds us the whole time in that tutorial when to press. And so I think that as a beginner, I really needed that reminder. And I could see at the end when the pants were done clearly the seams that I didn't press. So hopefully that would be a good reminder for me in the future. Okay, I think that's enough about the pants. Now I want to move on to the blouse, which I'm excited and nervous about because my plan, like I mentioned before, I think is most likely changing, or I should say now it is changing. I'm not going to make a small or short, I should say, a blouse like I initially intended to. If you remember, this is the set that I first saw, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do with this fabric. My options now are different, and they're both things that I haven't done before because I have not made one blouse at all. I have made a bag, I have made pants, I have made little things, but I have not made one blouse. And so for whatever reason, this is the one thing that I decide that I'm going to self-draft. I don't know. Does not sound like a smart decision, but we'll see. So these are my two options for the blouse. Okay, so this first one I really love, but I think it is really way, way above my very limited skills. I could potentially use a couple things or like one blouse that I have that I thrifted recently and I love it because it has that kind of like bell shape, or yeah, it has a similar vibe, I guess. There's a couple things that I really love about this blouse, but that are also worrying me. And actually, now that I think about it, I think the second option has this, which is the really thin straps. I love those thin straps. And I don't know, in my head, it's doable. I don't know. It just feels like it's something that I don't know enough. I do have books here that I could use for reference. Okay, and the second option seems to be easier, I think, just because it's not a fitted blouse. And so in my head, the chances of this just fitting kind of like loose, and maybe if it's not a good fit, I could get away with it. But I do love the vibe of this one. Just looks very chill, which is what I want, and kind of feel like loose. So either way, I'm gonna see if I have things in my closet that I could use for reference. I showed you those two options for inspiration, but I think I'm definitely going with the second one just because I think I could come up with something that could potentially look better if I'm self-drafting. I just did the whole update without holding the microphone, meaning I have to start over. Okay, let's see if I can make this even faster. So, too big here, weird here. It's too big. I don't know if you can see this here. Yep, you can see it. Just like not fitting right. The back is way too small. Way too small. Like this is what is happening. That needs to change. I need to cut another back panel because this is too small. I cut it. I was too bold when I did that cut. And I basically have to change I had to completely change this again. I have to bring this in. I have to change this here. I have to change the dart. That means that I have to do it for this piece and the lining. Yeah. So hopefully you can hear me because the ocean is a little choppy today and I don't have a microphone and the birds are yelling behind me. Okay, I think I'm gonna be able to talk. They just left. So yesterday I edited most of this video and today I have to film the final look, the final outfit, my creation. And I woke up and I really wanted to come outside, whether it was for a walk at a park or to the beach. And time just changed and daylight savings just started 2 days ago. And whenever that happens, I actually sleep really good. And it's really hard for me to start the day. My body's just like, no, it's too early, like it's hard. So it takes me a while to get up and to like understand that I'm in the body again. And for 2 years now, since I closed my company, my stationery company, I've been dealing with an inner boss that tells me that I'm late to start the day, that I'm late to do something. For a while, I was like, why do I feel this way? It's like, kind of dumb that I feel this way. I don't have anyone that is waiting for me or no one is relying on me. Why do I feel like I'm late? And today I felt that again and I heard that again in my mind, and I was kind of like building or scheduling my day around the fact that I was late. And basically I was going to skip coming to the park or just coming out to the world. And whenever that happens, I just really have to be very, very aware that that side of my mind is being loud again, and I have to really question it. Is this actually true and applicable right now? Because sometimes it is, but like today, it's not. I have two things that I want to prioritize today, and they don't require a lot of time. They don't require like long hours. They definitely do not require for me to be at the desk at any specific time. And so what if I actually prioritize what my soul is asking for, which is coming to the beach, going out to nature, going for a walk, breathing fresh air, you know? And I just thought that I would share this here because my friends are also sending me some messages. One of them is sick, and basically there's an inner voice that is telling her that she shouldn't be sick and that she should be productive. And I feel like that is so normal in the society that we live in, where urgency is kind of like the normal, and the scarcity of time is so present. And I think that being very aware of those mental patterns that take us to that place where we allow the inner voice to be the one that is guiding us and directing us, they really need to be brought to surface, and it's important to question them with compassion. And I think it's also okay to realize that even after 2 years of dealing with that, it's still present, and I shouldn't feel bad about feeling this way or having this inner voice. I think actually the change is in how I can respond to that and notice that that voice is still present, and that is up to me, and that I actually have the capacity and the freedom to choose to listen to it and to act accordingly, or to really question, what do I actually think, what do I actually want, and what do I actually feel in this moment? Is this actually true or not? I wonder if you have anything like this that comes up in your mind, an inner voice that has the reins sometimes when they shouldn't, and how you handle it, how you talk to it, how you have conversations with that inner voice. What area of your life do you feel like sharing in the comments? So I'm just gonna stay here for a little longer, and I'll go home and I will be filled with life and beauty and peace, and then I'll be ready to film the final outfit. So I'm taking you with me to the backyard because this is where the set belongs. It's already hot here in Florida. It is March 10, 11, I can't remember. And it's probably like 80 degrees right now, so it is a good test. Okay, we may have a lot of interruptions because the dogs are even louder here in the backyard because there are so many more noises and sounds here. So as you can see, I am sitting down and my pants are pushing my body, definitely. Now, this is something that I'm kind of used to because a lot of my pants are high-waisted. There's a lot of noise behind me. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like ambulances and the dogs. Okay, I don't know if being out here is a good idea. So back to the pants. I'm used to wearing high-waisted pants, and usually what I do when I sit down is that I open the button, and it's a win-win because I do like the look of high-waisted pants, and also it's fine, I'm comfortable when I sit. Now, the waist of this pants is way higher than my normal pants, but actually, surprisingly, they're not like super uncomfortable. Maybe because the fabric is so thin. So actually, I'm quite pleased with how they fit. However, I do have to say that lately I've realized that I am leaning more towards wearing my elastic band pants and just like baggy pants and things like that because they're just so much more comfortable. I have also found a couple patterns of pants that have an elastic waistband, but they also look like similar to what I had envisioned for these pants. So this is a good time to tell you that if you have any suggestions of sewing patterns of pants that maybe look like the original pants that I wanted to make, but they are more like the comfortable elastic waistband situation, I would love to know about those. Okay, so this is the set. I have so much to say about the top and the process of making it that at the end of the day, I think I'm just going to keep it very short. I did 2 different tops. The second one, I did it following a video and following specific instructions and measurement and doing it in a way that it seemed technically sound because again, I'm a beginner. I don't really know how to construct something properly. That is going to change very soon because I am going to take a class starting in April, I think. The second attempt, after following all of the instructions and doing all of the technical things, I went to compare that blouse with the first one I did without any reference, without any technicalities, and it was exactly the same, like exactly the same angle. Like there was not even a millimeter off anywhere, and I was like, what the heck is happening? Like how does that even happen? I still don't know. I have no idea how that happened. I almost gave up on the blouse at some point because it just kept doing weird things here and there. The last thing I did was that I brought this up even more, shortened the straps, which is not my preferred look, but at least it kind of fits properly. The back fits a little funny because I ended up doing this to, I don't even know how to call this, like pleats, darts, something to make the back like narrower. And that actually really helped with like the bags that I was getting here and here. I also ended up using just like random buttons, like different color buttons, which is not something that I love, at least for this set either, but that's all I got. And I was so done with the making of this blouse that I was like, that's it. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing it this way. The biggest lesson that I actually learned in the process of making this is that I chose that second design because I thought it was going to be easier. It turned out that it was really hard because it was hard to try it on since the finish of this blouse, when the front and the back panel were together was with the buttons, and the buttons were basically the last step of making the blouse. So it was just not easy to try it on and to make changes. That was not easy, but obviously I somehow made it happen. I keep stopping the video because so many things are happening around me. Okay, so the second thing that was important for me to learn in this process is that second blouse that I chose to recreate had a completely different fabric, and so it draped completely different than this, which is like obviously a lot more stiff and it's very thin and it just doesn't have the same constitution, and so it doesn't drape the same way. And I think I had started making this maybe like 2 months ago, I can't remember, but I completely finished the set like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was hanging in my closet and I didn't even want to reach for it because I was like, no, I'm done with it. I'm not very happy with the high-waisted pants, like the blouse doesn't really fit right, and I'm very happy today because as I'm wearing it, I'm like, actually, you know what? This is something that I could wear. And honestly, even if I didn't wear it, the process itself, even though it was not enjoyable the whole time, some parts were, but some others were not. Even though it had all of those bumps in the road, it was a great learning experience, and it was a great way to push myself to make something that was completely out of my comfort zone. Did you see that butterfly? I hope you did. Is she coming back? She's behind you. Nope, she left. So all in all, I am very happy and very pleased. Okay, so this is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me in the process of the making of this set, and hopefully you'll join me in the next video.